you are all doing well. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. I am so excited and really hope that you choose to stick around. Today's video is packed full of super important financial content. So today we are going to be talking all about what to do after you get your first credit card. I was somebody who didn't have a credit card for the longest time. I didn't get my first credit card until I was about 19 years old, so almost 2 years ago, because quite frankly, anything that I really needed to purchase, I could purchase with a debit card. I never purchased anything that was outside of my means, but establishing a good credit score early on is seriously so incredibly important for a multitude of reasons. You know, whether it be you're applying for your first apartment or a loan, you're going to need to have a high credit score. And it's one thing to get your first credit card, but then it's kind of like, okay, great, now what do I do with it? So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down all the tips, how to kind of manage your first credit card, how to make sure that your score is A+. Without further ado, I'm just going to jump right into today's video. I think that this is a really helpful one, so sit back, relax, take some notes, and let's get financial. So the first thing you need to do is choose what credit card you're interested in. When it came to me, I knew that I was looking for something with an incredibly low interest rate and no annual fees. Just because, especially, you know, being a young individual on a budget who is completely financially independent, I felt like it was kind of unnecessary to get a card that cost money to keep. I also wanted one, though, this was a big thing for me, that generated an incredibly large amount of cash back and points per purchase. And I wanted to be able to use that cash back / points for shopping, travel, whatever I really wanted to use it for. I didn't want to have to be confined to like one specific way to use my points. So what I actually did is I went to my bank, and this is something that I really recommend, is sitting down and talking to a representative from your bank. I went to my local Chase branch in New York City. I sat down and talked to somebody that worked there. They were super helpful, and eventually I settled on the Chase Freedom Unlimited card, which I know is one of like the most popular credit cards for a very, very good reason. There is no annual fee on the card. The interest rate is 0% for the first 15 months, I think, and then it's like still relatively reasonable after that. Also, I believe for the first 15 months that you have your card, you got like 3 times the points on every single purchase, and after that it's 1.5 points per like every dollar you spend, I think. All in all, I think it is a fantastic credit card. I do not regret my choice. Since then, I have opened a second credit account as well, but I still love my Chase Freedom Unlimited. I think it is like the best credit card for those just starting out. And then for those who are kind of curious, I also did open a Southwest credit card about 8 months ago, just because obviously before this pandemic, I did travel a lot. I'm somebody who travels a lot, so I figured it would be really beneficial to have a card that would in turn generate travel points, you know, every time I use that card, and then I could put that towards later flight purchases. So that's kind of the background on how I chose my first credit card. Now let's jump into the actual tips that I have. So you have your credit card in your hand, but you're like, what do I do with it? Here's what you do. And obviously, just a little disclaimer here, in no way am I saying that I'm a financial expert. However, I do think I am somebody from the younger generation who is very, very good with money, and feel like I have some tips that are really helpful for those who are kind of around my age and in a similar situation. Only spend what you have. Debt is not a cute look, you guys, and I know that when you get that credit card and you see the credit limit, it can be very, very tempting to spend a little bit of extra money and put it on your credit card and think, oh, it's okay, like I'll pay it off eventually. Obviously, if there's an emergency, let's say you have like a hospital bill or something you have to get and you don't have the funds for right then and there, that's why a credit card is really great. But if it's something frivolous, like an extra pair of like Lululemon leggings, and you don't have the money for it in your checking account, do not put it on your credit card. So anytime I put something on my credit card, I always ask myself, do I actually have the money for it in my checking account? Like if I had to purchase this with my debit card, would I have the funds? And if the answer is yes, I put it on my credit card. If not, unless it's an emergency situation, I don't end up purchasing it. Keep track of every single purchase that you make on your credit card. And you should keep track of it somewhere else besides your banking app or your credit card app. For me, I use a Google spreadsheet. I make a new spreadsheet every single month, and I literally log every single purchase that I have made with my credit card for that month. That way I always know how much I'm gonna need to pay off at the end of the month or at the end of a couple of weeks. This is also a really great way to keep yourself accountable and really, really understand everything you're spending money on per month. It's also a great time to maybe take a look at your budget and see if there's anything that you're spending money on that really isn't necessary in the long run. I don't know what's going on outside. All of a sudden there's like a man outside cutting down some trees. It got really loud, but I'm just gonna keep going, so hopefully we can't hear that. Use as little of your credit limit as possible. This has a huge impact on your credit score. I believe typically the rule of thumb is you only want to be using about like 30% of your entire credit limit, 30% max. I try and usually keep the balance at about 15% of my credit usage. Like I said, this can have a huge impact overall on your credit score. If you're using like 60% of your credit limit and you don't pay it off before your next credit check, your score can seriously plummet by points, and it is just like gut-wrenching. Which is why my next tip is so incredibly important, and that is to pay off your credit card as soon as possible. Basically, you never want a remaining balance on your credit card at the end of a statement period, because that can really impact your score. So basically, you want your credit balance to be $0 at the end of every month. And that's honestly a really attainable goal, as long as, like I said, everything you're purchasing on your credit card, you have the money to pay back. Some people have different ways of going about this. Some people that I know like to keep track of their entire expenses for the month and then pay it off at the end of the month. For me, that kind of hurts because it always feels like a giant amount at the end of the month. So what I typically like to do, because I like to stay very on top of my finances, is at the end of every single week, I will pay off my credit card balance. And some people might be saying, well, Ruby, like, why do you even use your credit card like every single week that much? For me personally, in order to kind of get the most bang for my buck and always make sure that I'm earning cash back and points on my credit card that I can then trade in for purchases later on, I put pretty much every single purchase on my credit card. Because A, I know I have the funds to actually purchase on my debit card if I wanted to, so I can always pay it back. But like I said, you know, if I need to purchase something, might as well earn a little bit of cash back in points while I'm at it. So yes, I pay off my credit card pretty much at the end of every week. There is nothing better than seeing that, you know, remaining balance be at $0. But if maybe paying off your credit card every 2 weeks or at the end of every month is what works best for you, go for it. The point is though, at the end of every month, you want to make sure that your credit account says that you have $0 remaining in any sort of balance. Do not go ham with opening credit cards. Now I know once you get approved for your first credit card, it can seem really tempting to go like all in and apply for like 10 more, but this obviously can have a very negative effect on your credit score. But also, especially when you're in your early to mid 20s, there's really no reason to have multiple credit cards open. My overall tip would be have your first credit card for about a year, and then if you find another one you like as well, and maybe they're having like a really great like opening offer, you know, if you spend $3,000 in the first 2 months, you get like a ton of points. If that's something that could really benefit you at the time, then open up your second credit card, but keep your first one open as well, because if you close that too early, it can also have a negative impact on your score. If your bank or credit card gives you the option to increase your credit, take it. Even if you don't need it, this is going to have a really positive impact on your score. Basically, from what I understand, like the simplest of terms, the larger the amount of credit is that your bank/credit card gives you, as long as you keep the amount of credit you use, the percentage, relatively low, your score can go up a ton. And like I said, I'm somebody who every single purchase that I make on my credit card, you know, I'm able to purchase myself with my debit card if I needed to. So it's not like I need, you know, thousands of dollars worth of credit. But anytime my bank or credit card offers me a little bit more credit, I always take it, because it definitely has a positive impact on your credit score. My final tip is to check your credit score regularly, and do not be afraid of checking your credit score. I know that this can be really kind of daunting and scary for a lot of us younger people who have just opened their first credit card, but you have to get comfortable with your credit score. Otherwise, you're never gonna know what it is and how to improve it. I usually check my score about 2 times a month, which is what I recommend that all of you guys do. I don't really check it any more often than that, just because I'm never worried that my score is gonna go down, because I know I'm never gonna have like any, you know, extra fees or an extra balance at the end of the month. So I really only feel that it's necessary to check my score, you know, like twice a month max. But the point is, I'm looking at it. I'm understanding my credit score. If there's something that I don't understand about it, I go to my bank and ask questions. I'm so glad that you guys have taken an interest in my financial content, because I love being able to provide like free resources and tips for you guys. But I think some people really forget that your bank and the people who work there can be one of the best free resources out there. I have had countless meetings with people from my Chase branch about everything from credit cards, savings accounts, investment accounts. I mean, I literally go there all the time to ask any and all of my questions. So I highly encourage you guys to do that too. But there you guys have it. Those are all of my tips when it comes to dealing with your first credit card. I really hope that this video was helpful. I really, for some reason, just get so passionate talking about finances, and I love that you guys have been asking for more on my channel. If this video was helpful, which I really hope it was, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It would seriously mean the world to me. I'm trying trying to hit like 5K by the end of this summer. Fingers crossed, I'm hoping we can do it and kind of slowly start to grow our little family even more. Follow me on all my social media networks. Links are always in the down bar below. I hope that you guys are having an awesome day, night, afternoon, whenever you all are watching this video, and I will talk to you guys in my next one. Okay? Bye, everybody.